What do you mean?
This is live in 4 minutes 57 seconds.
Yeah, it's not moving.
That's right.
No.
And then just go bang. And it's awesome.
Oh, here we go. Now it's started. Now the pressure's on.
There we go.
There we go. And even lovely music as well.
Wow. Is this non-copyright material music?
It is indeed non-copyright. These are pictures that have been sent in by viewers. Thank you very much indeed to a whole bunch of people that have sent them in. Craig Linders for one. I know there's a couple of pictures from New York Comic Con as well in here. If you do want to send yours in to the 5-minute countdown, send them into pics@englishmaninsandiego.com. Love to see yours.
Leonard, do they have to be specifically San Diego Comic Con, or
No,
can they be
not
from
at all.
any Comic Con?
Okay. They can be off-site, they can be New York, they can be WonderCon. If you've gone to WonderCon, Wizard World, sorry, this weekend, yeah, if you've got any of your favourite memories of those, send them in. We'd love to see them. And we'll put them on the 5-minute countdown, which will allow you to kind of get yourself nicely settled. Do, of course, take this moment as well to spread the word about the Hangout, let everyone know that we're live, and we're going to be talking to our guests in about just over 3.5 minutes' time. I think that's a nice one. I like the little stormtrooper. I'm sorry, it's just so cute. Yeah, little stormtrooper, huge Jawa. So.
Look at all these people making Frank Miller. This is really annoying.
Yeah, and doesn't Frank look so happy about it?
I am jealous of people.
I know. That sounded like such a cool event. Someone's going to have to tell me what Kamikaze's like, because that sounds like such a blast. Sounds like it's such a strange con. So yes, we're hopefully going to be live in just over 2 minutes' time, and hopefully Alyssa will have sorted out.
She's been trying. She had like an actual microphone in her hand at one point.
I know. Yes, I think this was the picture of Team Arrow taken just before Barrowman dropped his trousers, which Barrowman has want to do.
Have you seen he's getting his own Funko now?
Oh. Does it also have no trousers on it?
Well, the prototype that he showed off on Vine or whatever it was that he was filming definitely had some trousers on. Who knows if it will in the real thing? We don't know.
I shared with the actress who played Agent 47 or Agent 13, sorry, in Captain America. She's also in Revenge as well. These people have been really kind of looking forward to getting their own Funkos, and they've gotten their own figures, which I think is really cool. But
hers is so ugly, though.
I don't know. I quite like it.
No, I think it was Mario on Twitter who said it, but it totally looks like she's like one of those jogger moms, like walking down the street, like carrying weights. That's what it looks like.
Oh man. And yes, I don't know if we'll be talking. Shall we talk Funkos, because there's been a couple of. Actually, no, I don't think we will, because there's obviously been a couple of the spoilers off the back of Civil War.
Yeah, but Lego spoiled that like weeks ago.
I know, and Funko have told us no, shush. So we'll keep that quiet. Hopefully, we're going to be getting. Team Funko on the Hangout actually just before WonderCon, which should be cool. And it's not that far away now.
No, it's not.
Then again, it's we start the con season up almost just as the con season sort of like wraps down for breakfast.
Yeah, I've been quite enjoying the off season this year, though.
20 seconds, and I will, because all I'm seeing is the countdown at the moment, so I can't see if Alyssa's.
She's not.
She's not. Okay. Once again, then, if you do want to send your pictures in, we'd love to have them on the 5-minute countdown. Send them into pics, that's P-I-C-S, at an Englishman in San Diego.com. We'd love to see your pictures. Okay. So if I get rid of... For some reason it should now not be sharing, but there we go. Right. Alyssa is kind of having one or two technical issues, as you may have worked out throughout the 5-minute countdown, but hopefully she'll be joining us very soon indeed, and then we can do an absolute full rundown of my guests on the Hangout today. Welcome along. It's the first one of 2016. It's the 10th of January, and it is the first Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea of Englishman in San Diego of the new year. I really hope you had a fantastic Christmas and a great festive season, and I hope everything kind of went well for you. Hopefully you've gained a few pounds, hopefully you indulged, and now it's a case of hopefully you will kind of work some of that off as we get towards July and kind of like need as much energy in reserves as possible. My name's Leonard Sultana. I'm an Englishman in San Diego, and I'll be introducing my guest. Let's go left to right on my screen. We have Mr. Mark Serby joining us. Hello, Mark. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, Leonard. Thanks for the invite. Nice to be back for another year.
Well, we were hoping to try and get you on just before Christmas, and you kind of weren't able to because, well, there was Christmas happening, so you kind of got a little bit stuck with it. But how was your Christmas? What did you get up to?
It was busy, quite busy actually. We had 7 people on Christmas Day, 9 people, 2 dogs, and a rabbit on Boxing Day, which was chaotic. And then the Sunday was equally chaotic, but by Monday it was quite nice and had calmed down. So the whole week was spent recovering really and just watching films, you know, the type of films that you get on between Christmas and New Year that have no relevance to anything whatsoever, but they're on, so you watch them.
That's what we like to hear, because I mean, it really is a case you just have to chill out, don't you? You just have to kind of decompress, which is why we did take 3 weeks out of doing these. But yeah, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And we have someone I have been looking forward to getting back on the Hangout for ages and ages. Kerry Dixon. Hello, Kerry. How are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm good.
How
I've got dogs all over me at the moment.
Yes, Kerry Dixon is our very own Carrie Fisher. She also has a dog to hand at all times.
Yes.
Admittedly, while Carrie Fisher has the tongue is constantly out. Yes. So how's your festive season been? What have you been up to?
It was good. I'm American, so we don't get quite as much vacation as you guys. So
we like to indulge.
Yeah, you do. Hey, if our country would do that, I would love it. But it felt kind of short to me because like I even still had to work Christmas Eve, so that was kind of a bummer. But it was a good Christmas. It was fun. It just went by far too fast.
It was a Christmas. There you go. That's
yeah.
Well, it sounds like from reading various social medias, it did sound like everyone had a great time. So yeah, do jump in on the Q&A on Google Plus if you want to let us know how you celebrated your festive season, and of course, do let us know if you have any highlights that you had over the festive season of any presents that you got, any geek and nerd highlights. My particular favourite present that I personally got was from the mother unit of all people. She went to some nerd website. I think she did literally, because you know how mothers are, they just type nerd website, boom, and ended up coming up with 2 American style jackets, you know, like the college jackets. And Caroline's, my wife's, was Imperial Stormtrooper, with the Imperial Stormtrooper on the back, and mine was Vader. So nice. Vader on the back, it's Team Vader on the back. And I just went, thanks, Mum. That's just mental. So that was rather cool. Was there any nerd presents that you guys got in your in Santa's sack, as it were? Mark.
Well, Yes and no. I mean, there was a lot of sort of, like his little bits and whatever else. But my girlfriend did get me this,
Go on.
which is a Scarface Funko in his car.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Al Pacino fan, as you can see from obviously the poster in the background, and it was nice to get something like that because I'd kind of been talking about it a little bit on and off. I'm like, hey, I wouldn't mind that. So that was that was a nice little thing. And then also because you rightly pointed out, Leonard, this week on Twitter and everything else, it was my birthday this week.
It was. Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. Yes. My girlfriend also got me a lovely signed copy of Nick Frost's autobiography.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because I have a signed copy of Simon Pegg's autobiography, so she got me that.
Now you have the pair.
I have. I'm just waiting for Edgar Wright to bring out a book, and then that's me done.
You've got the
There you go.
trifecta.
Exactly. Yes.
Have you managed to dive into that book yet? Because I've been hearing good things, but I haven't got a copy of my own. So.
No, I actually don't want to take it out of the house because it's signed. So it's one of those that I'm only going to read in two places, either the toilet or the bed. So
That's where you read books.
Oh right.
No, that's where you read books. That's fine. You're perfectly justified on that one. Okay, that's cool. Excellent. Any highlights in terms of your presents, Kerry? What did you manage to land from generous family members this year?
Well, they gave me Dragon Age Inquisition, which I'm like years and years late on the whole Dragon Age thing. But that's like all I've been doing with my life for the last 2 months. So that was fun.
Excellent. And I kind of noticed there's been a little bit of redecorating or moving of stuff around in the house. Have you got all your stuff signed on the wall? Have they been framed up there for a while?
No, the two behind me, though, back there, those are new. Those are from Hero Complex Gallery.
Nice.
And they're from Age of Ultron. One has Steve and one has Tony, but that's
Cool.
all.
Okay. Excellent stuff. And let's all collectively cross our fingers.
We can hear you.
Yay!
Alyssa Franks. Yay!
I'm on my phone. I got after okay, Chrome, Google, Firefox. I'm on my phone. So there you go. I've been binging Game of Thrones. That's been my big thing. I'm up to season 2, and I'm finally getting what everybody is talking about.
You haven't seen it before?
No, I hadn't.
I'm a good season behind. I'm a good season and a bit behind. But then again, I'm a good season bit behind on pretty much all of my television at the moment, which is really embarrassing to kind of admit. But especially when we've got programs starting up literally in a matter of days.
Well, it's harder.
Amazing amount of programs starting up.
Yeah, but it's harder now more than ever just because there's so much on. I think I read that there's 400 something scripted series on last year. That's insane.
And then people wonder why the schedules are so clashy when it comes to Comic-Cons and trying to fit everything in. It's because there's just so much to go and see and so many decent programs and so many fantastic. I think that's the great thing about it at the moment is it's just the quality of the programs that are out. I mean, even the ones that you kind of forget down the line and down the list. There was one which people are going to have to remind me of the title of it. I think it was the Frankenstein project, where it's an old.
Oh, that got renamed 8 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
That's how I know it.
Yeah, and it's kind of an old gentleman gets implanted into a young man's body, and it's about how he kind of adapts to that. But I saw the first 2 episodes, and it's really good. When even kind of the programs all the way down the bottom of the pile are really good. You're kind of in that golden age of television which everyone talks about. So that's what we are going to be talking about a lot on this Hangouts. Actually, first things first, Alyssa, we kind of didn't cover your geek present, and Alyssa seems to have vanished. Oh, is she there?
No, she's there.
Oh, she's there. Yep. Any of your geek prezzies?
Not so much. I mean, everything I had talked about before, because I bought it all for myself and had people give it to me. The big thing has been the Game of Thrones that I've been watching in terms of geek presence. Loved the artwork that I picked out for myself. Loved the technology that I picked out for myself. All of it. No surprises under my tree, except for some checks, which is cool. That's always cool. That'll go for the spring cons. That's been what I've been planning.
Yeah, money, just money.
Yeah, well, I got some stuff planned for the C2E2 and WonderCon, and the time off between those two. So that's pretty cool. I may drop out and try and see if I can get back in and get on a better connection. So bear with me.
Right, well, in that case, we will dive in with Mark and Kerry then, and we'll talk about the kind of like the upcoming programs, certainly in the immediate future, and certainly what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Because while we can talk about or can speculate about what we can see at San Diego Comic-Con and other cons coming up, let's talk about what we can experience on television now. What's kind of on your dance card then, Kerry? What's kind of you're looking forward to certainly in the next couple of weeks or so?
In the next couple of weeks, I mean, the most immediate and first thing that's coming up, obviously, is the new season of Agent Carter, which is going to start January 19th here in the States and I think January 28th in the UK. So I'm excited about that. And then the third season of The 100 starts on January 21st here. And then the new season of The X-Files starts here in January as well.
Well, I was just going to say, you've not only got that, you've also got Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that starts on the 21st, yep.
And the season finale of Heroes Reborn. That's a busy day.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be. But it's going to be a really good season, I think, for TV. Like I said, all those things are pretty great. I'm really excited about the new X-Files. So.
Cool. I'm trying to work out when these are actually going to start making an appearance here in the UK, and as per usual, I think we are just going to be kind of muting social media as they hit American screens. Is there anything that you've kind of spotted, Mark, that's certainly in the near future that you're kind of hoping gets to us sooner rather than later?
We never know, though, Leonard, do we? This is the problem, I mean, I was desperate for Ash versus the Evil Dead to eventually make its way over here. I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan, and it ended up on Virgin Media's online portal or something like that, which about 4 people can probably see. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I'm hoping that America gets a DVD of it soon so I can import that, because I'm desperate to see it, but I mean, we're clearly not getting it, so never mind.
Yeah. It's gone on Amazon Prime, and as did The Man with the High Castle, which
I've heard great things about that, but yeah,
it's fantastic.
That's all I've done.
It's fantastic.
I'm about halfway through, and it's stunning.
Yeah, the one thing that I actually quite liked was liked the look of was Lucifer.
Yes.
I saw some bits at Comic-Con and whatever else, and I was sort of in between, really, and then reading up on it a bit more. Obviously, it's based on Neil Gaiman's Sandman, loosely, they keep saying. So I'm interested to see what happens with it. I really am. Whether they'll make a good job of it, I'm not sure, because those graphic novels are insane. I mean, I'm not sure how they can film it, but clearly they're trying. So, yeah.
I know they're also, as well as taking it from the Neil Gaiman book, they're also, because DC Vertigo have just kind of relaunched their brands, and they did a bit of a presentation at Thought Bubble in Leeds. It was one of the few of the major publishers to come over, and they did a presentation about the books. And Lucifer is one of the comics, which actually I believe the first issue of that comes out New Comic Book Day. This coming Wednesday, sorry. So there's kind of like that tie-in between that and the new series. The trailer looks amazing. I'm really liking the kind of the pitch that they're going for with Lucifer. It does. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like the kind of tone which I hoped they were going to go with Constantine.
Why didn't you think? I mean, I thought the tone for Constantine was actually pretty spot on. once it got going, give it 4 or 5 episodes, because initially they were very much like, oh, don't let anybody see him smoking on screen. And then I think they realised, actually, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And from then on, he never had a cigarette out of his mouth, I don't think. I really like it. I thought it was great, and then sadly, obviously, cancelled.
Has anybody caught up on You, Me, and the Apocalypse? It's a half-an-hour show about like the world has 30 days to live before a giant meteor hits it, and it's all these little vignettes about what people do. If you had 30 days for the rest of the world, what would you do? And it goes into some, from what I've seen, it goes into, some of them go into just crazy stuff, you know, finding the lost love of your life and all of this. It's NBC, so I'm not so sure how it's going to work out. January 28th is the first one.
We've already had it here, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had it last year. I've got it all on my Sky Plus box. I haven't started watching it yet.
Okay.
More is the shame with me. But I record it because, you know, Rob Lowe's in it. I mean...
Oh, that's the thing about that programme. Yeah, just to prime for everyone in the States. Here in the UK, it's actually a co-production between NBC and Sky. It's actually an original Sky production here in the UK. And you kind of look at the cast list, and the cast list is insane for this programme. But it's very difficult to actually watch because, like Alyssa says, it's like little short stories which kind of like weave amongst each other. And it doesn't quite grab you in the first couple of episodes. It's very hard and very difficult to kind of get into it.
Okay.
It is rewarding. I mean, you get about 2-3 episodes in and it finally starts gelling together, but the first couple of episodes are tough going. So if you are giving it a go,
yeah,
give it some time.
Have you guys heard anything about the Martin Scorsese show that's going to be on?
Vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure it'll be great. I mean, it's Scorsese, it's HBO, it's got huge names.
It's got Bobby Cannavale in it.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Looking awesome. Yeah, it's mid-February, I believe.
I think so too.
Yeah.
February 14th.
There we go. Perfect Valentine's Day present for all of us who have been with our spouses for far too long and just go, oh, we just want to watch TV. Give us something decent to watch.
There you go.
I mean, the Scorsese name got me. I was kind of like going, but it's about, I mean, it's about 70s rock and roll. I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, hasn't that been done a bit?
If the Scorsese name got you, if you have not watched Boardwalk Empire, I highly recommend that.
Okay.
Highly.
Okay.
It's 70s rock and roll. I'm just too young for that, I'm afraid. I don't know.
Come on, let's not start the year off on some lies. Hey, come on.
Thanks, Mark.
That's all right.
Yes, if they did a show on, I don't know, the history of Duran Duran, the 1980s, you know, when I was a kid. If you're buying any of this, by the way, congratulations. Let's see what else is kind of doing the rounds in terms of the next couple of weeks, which I'm very curious to see what people's thoughts are on American Horror Story, and certainly what the last hotel series has done to attract people's attention. I mean, have any of you guys been watching that? What's been happening? Oh, we've got 2 hands up there. So yeah, Kerry, what's your take on it? Because when I've seen obviously the trailers for it, and you see Lady Gaga showing up, has that worked? Did it pan out?
You know what? I love American Horror Story, even though it's like the worst written thing on TV. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, if you watch it for any kind of like plot or purpose or anything like that, like, you're gonna hate it. It's Ryan Murphy. I mean, come on. But that's all you need to know. But it's gorgeous, and I didn't like last season when they did the Freak Show. It just, I don't know, it just never came together for me. But this year, Lady Gaga is actually a pretty good actress, which shocked me, but...
She managed to persuade everyone she was a girl for a while, so, yeah.
I don't know about that, but But it's just a lot more cohesive. Again, it's gorgeous. It's just a really good season. Truthfully, I like this season more than I've liked any season since the first. So,
Wow.
if you've liked any of the seasons, you'll like this. If this is like your first foray into American Horror Story, don't go in expecting logic, sense, any of those kind of things. So.
Because if I got this right, it's the series finale, which I believe is this Wednesday. So
maybe. I think I'm like one episode behind, so maybe.
And I know that Blacklist is back, which that's my particular show of poison. I'm a Blacklist fan, so I'm looking forward to that finally. I think here in the UK we get that a week or two after the US, so I think that's on its way. I think the only show that we kind of have almost to the day or shortly after is The Walking Dead, but that's only because if we didn't show it like a day after, there would be riots in the streets and storming of the gates kind of thing.
We also get Game of Thrones as well, exactly the same time.
Yeah.
But
and that finally got a release date.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be April 24th is when that's coming.
There was also a show on that Hulu is producing. I mean, talk about the Netflixes and the Amazons and Hulu is now in it. What was it? 11/22/63.
The Stephen King. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
J.J. Abrams produced it, and James Franco's in it. And that's about all I know.
A high school history teacher travels back in time to prevent the assassination of JFK. So it sounded interesting. If anybody has Hulu, let me know how that one works. I'd like to get some feedback on that because that sounds interesting to me. It's February 15th. Again with the Valentine's Day stuff.
What is it about programming these programs on Valentine's weekend?
For all of those people who don't have things to do on Valentine's Day.
Or don't have girlfriends or boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Nice to rub that in. Fantastic. Yeah.
I think they did that with House of Cards.
Followed up by Vikings on
What's that, sorry, Carrie?
Oh, I just said I think they did that with House of Cards a year or two ago. Like it came out on Valentine's Day.
But that's a power couple show. I mean,
that's right.
You would sit there and you would go, "That is us, darling. That's us. Look at us."
Oh man.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Sorry, but no.
As always, on the Q&A, do jump in with any shows that are attracting your attention, certainly in the January-February mark. Do let us know if there's anything that's on your radar. Also, in terms of what you would like to talk about, in terms of shows that you've kind of seen. We've got a couple of headlines that have broken. One of them broke today. And we've got Ian O'Hara, who's on the Q&A at the moment, saying that, number one, did you hear that the WBDC are going to be premiering Batman Killing Joke at Comic-Con this year? Rated R and Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Take my money now. This was something that was announced at New York Comic-Con, I believe, and I've been interested to see what they're going to do with it, considering that you can actually hold the Killing Joke and sort of like in that much space in your hand. It's a very, very thin story. It really would be making a feature-length animation out of a comic, a single issue. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that. Well, then again, they made 3 films out of The Hobbit, so they can do anything they like, I suppose. So very curious to hear about that. I think the big news for me, though, today was the news that Kevin Smith is coming to television. And he's coming to television with his favourite show at the moment, I understand, which is The Flash. What's everyone's take on this? And are you up for seeing Kevin Smith directing television?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, so that's a thumbs up from Alyssa.
I'm happy with it, absolutely. But I think, I don't know, Kevin Smith, his material is very adult, and I'm not sure how it's going to work with the Flash, because the Flash is very, well, it's very flashy and it's very light. 42 minutes of, hey, I missed 38 minutes, but I've still got 4 minutes and I know what's going on. So I'm unsure what Kevin Smith's going to do here. I would like him to keep his own style, but I can't imagine he will.
I mean, I did read his Batman run, or several of the Batman runs that he's done, and the man can certainly write to a comic audience. But yeah, I know what you mean. The style seems a little strange. It sounds a little bit like when Quentin Tarantino directed an episode of ER, and they tried transplanting his style and it as a kind of like as a director for hire, and it didn't quite gel. What's your thoughts on it, Kerry?
I don't watch The Flash, so I don't have that many thoughts.
I
mean, in TV, directors truthfully have they don't have that much to do with the way that a show is shaped. Like, obviously, you have a new director in every week. Like, the writers have a lot more to do with it, the producers have a lot more to do with it. So I don't think it's gonna completely change the show for that 1 week.
We're not going to see any major flashes, which
no
pun intended, of Kevin Smith impacting. Okay.
Well, they have so much canon that they have to fit within that they can't really do anything that's going to be groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So it but it would still be fun. Sometimes they show a new take on the whole thing and all. So anything that pulls attention to the geek culture on TV, I'm for. I love the episodic shows as opposed to the big shows. I just think that you can get a lot more in depth with the single shows than you can with the larger movies. So pulling name directors into TV is a great thing, as far as I'm concerned.
I do like. I've had a comment on Twitter come up saying this could go one of two ways. Don't forget, number one, he was behind writing a script for Superman, so he knows how to handle major IPs and major talents and major characters. But he also did star in Ben Affleck's Daredevil film. And you have to go swings and roundabouts. It could go either way, so who knows. I'm up for seeing it. That is going to be apparently slated to air in May, and we'll see how that pans out. I do quite like Aaron Neighbours' comment on the Q&A. I wonder if Kevin Smith's episode will be titled "Chasing Flash." Like it, like it. So there we go. Right.
One show that we haven't mentioned that's airing on February 17th is The Vikings, which I'm really looking forward to. It's the broadsword stuff. Yeah. So
I know you're a fan.
Yeah, I had to mention that one just because I was glad to see that it was back and being aired. So.
I mean, what else is kind of attracting everyone's attention? I mean, Kerry, is there anything else that's kind of really on your radar?
I mean, it's not at all geeky, but I love How to Get Away with Murder, and that comes back on February 11th. It's really good. Don't make that face. I see you over there. But, I mean, Daredevil comes back with Season 2 on March 18th. Yep. Super excited about that.
Oh, we'll get into that one.
Well, no, I mean, we might as well get into it now, considering that it's not only there's two sets of timing that it kind of talks about, and I did actually bring it up with somebody, and I can't remember who I was speaking to.
No, you brought it up with me. Okay.
Okay, go on, go.
What's up with first announcing? Everybody was like hot on the thing that it's going to happen during WonderCon, and so I'm making my plans. I was like even ready to book another hotel room so I can air it, and not interrupt all of my roommates because I'm going to be at WonderCon. And then all of a sudden they show the trailer, which is basically a rehash of season 1, and it's going to be at C2E2. So then there's that, number one. And number two, at C2E2, their Netflix is pretty friendly with the Repop guys. So I'm thinking there's going to be some sort of a tie together with C2E2, and that we may get the first episode or two in a panel.
It's possible. It makes sense.
It's possible. Have they done anything outside New York Comic Con with any of the Marvel Netflix shows? I don't feel like they have.
I think it's just with Repop. The Marvel.
Yeah, but I think so far it's just been in New York. So I don't know if that's like because the shows take place, kind of in Hell's Kitchen. So I don't know if they kind of view that as like that makes sense. So I think it'll be super interesting if they do go to C2E2. I think it speaks volumes. If they do.
And what's up with the Netflix? And
okay.
Okay. Now this is something that I wanted to bring up as part of the conversation. But as it happens, Kerry has a little bit of background on this because you were talking to one of the main players, weren't you?
Basically, okay. So as I think most of us know, Sense8 kind of had a panel last year. I say kind of because it wasn't actually sanctioned. And I think basically what happened at the time was J. Michael Straczynski, who I can't pronounce his last name very well, so we're just going to call him JMS.
I think you pretty much nailed it there, actually.
Okay, well, Straczynski, he goes every year, and he was holding like his own regular, like, hey, I'm just going to talk about my own stuff panel, but then I think he said, why don't we hold a panel where I'm just talking about Sense8? And they said, sure, whatever, it happened. But then some strange things started happening. It changed dates, some other things happened, and so because I live on Twitter, I saw him talking to somebody, and I'll just read it. Somebody tweeted him last year and said, heartbroken that the SDCC panel has been changed from Thursday to Friday. Will any of the cast or crew be around Thursday? And he responded, none of the cast or other crew are doing SDCC. Netflix is not allowing it. Marketing department doesn't support SDCC. So I tweeted him, and I said, what makes you think they don't support San Diego Comic-Con? And he said, they told me, didn't want the panel to happen, then told the cast not to come. Pretty clear, I'd say. So, I mean, I'm with him. You can't get more clear than that.
Yeah. This is something that...
Yeah. This was a panel that was not costing them money.
Yeah. This is something that myself and Alyssa was talking about because Alyssa, and I know that a number of people that I've been speaking to are kind of under the impression that it was either like an oversight or if it's just something in their kind of like the way they wanted to approach their promotion for the shows. But it actually seems like a very focused slight against CCI, and I'd really like to know, certainly from both sides, what the actual official line is when it comes to the relationship between CCI and Netflix.
I mean, the vaguely interesting thing, there's two things I think that are vaguely interesting. The first is that the very first panel that Netflix ever did was actually at a CCI event. It was at WonderCon a couple years ago for Hemlock Grove. That was like 2012, maybe. They didn't do anything for several years after that. The other is, why I'm curious about what you said, Alyssa, is I've always kind of assumed that maybe the reason they bring the Marvel stuff to New York Comic Con is because that's more Marvel saying, hey, we want to bring this, than it is Netflix saying, hey, we want to bring this. So I could kind of see where Marvel would be like, we're Marvel, we want to bring our TV show, and Netflix would be like, whatever, we don't have to pay. But if they're doing it at other conventions, like C2E2, that to me implies that it really is like something against San Diego Comic Con in specific.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be interesting to see, what they do at C2E2. You bring up a good point in that it's cost effective to do it in New York if everybody's already there. It's a no-brainer, to do something that ties in so well with it.
I would have thought it would have been a no-brainer to be like, hey, Straczynski, you're not costing us money at Comic-Con. You already have a room. Hold this panel. Promote us. But instead, apparently, they were like, please don't use our name. Please don't broadcast. So, I don't know about that.
I'm just wondering if someone has just kind of... Maybe someone at CCI has run over somebody's cat at Netflix. I don't... It sounds so personal. That's
It does.
So specific.
And they've done other things. Like they brought Orange is the New Black to Paley last year, I think. So
they're not out doing conventions or events. So
no.
Who knows?
It's the weirdest thing. But that's why I was, up until I read that whole exchange last year, I was always like, maybe this will be the year Netflix will come. And now I'm like, I don't think they're ever going to come.
But do you know what? I can add to that, actually. Here in the UK, we get certain one-off events to push TV shows. So obviously they had Amazon did Hand of God last year as well, and Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But we don't have an HBO channel here, and it airs on Sky Atlantic. But Game of Thrones still had an event here, so there's still a lot of interest, and there's still a lot of one-off events for American TV shows. Apart from Netflix, even something like Beasts of No Nation, the Netflix film, starring Idris Elba, a British person, he's doing pretty well for himself. You'd kind of think, hey, listen, let's have a premiere for it. It's a film, but nothing. Yeah. All they did was just push it out, and they went, hey, Idris Elba's in a new film. If you want to see it, it's on Netflix. You're like, you should be promoting this. He's one of the biggest movie stars on the planet at the moment, and you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. We paid $15 million for it or whatever else, and it's a weird strategy. It really is.
It's very similar to the way they treated Jessica Jones when they launched that here in the UK as well. Admittedly, it's the kind of program which is very much going to live on social media, where everyone's just going to talk about it. And yes, Twitter just went nuts when that program came out. So if you're following any kind of social media, you know it's going to be out. But there's very little in terms of posters, promotion. The promotion for Netflix here in the UK, we kind of get it 6 months later when they're wanting to promote it once it's actually been on the channel. We just finished a nice little run of Mr. Robot adverts. That was out back in March.
Yeah. A while.
Netflix promotion department, I suspect you're drunk. I don't know.
We're never going to get a Netflix person on the Hangout now. You realize that, right?
I don't think we would have anyway if they hate Comic-Con that much.
But you know what? Actually,
ask them.
Do you know what? I'm going to stick up for them here a little bit, and this is something I wanted to bring up, is Netflix have, the end of last year, found the perfect time to launch a show. Make It a Murderer. Now, has everybody seen this show? I mean, if you haven't, then wow. Okay, you need a 10-part documentary. You kind of think 10 parts of documentary. I'm not watching that. How many people were talking on social media about this documentary between Christmas and New Year? Virtually everybody. Yeah. It was the perfect release schedule. They'd got that down to a T. And I think Netflix have got that now. And that's what you need, because you've got so many people off around that time that people want to just sit there and chill and watch bit of Netflix and chill, obviously. They want to do bits, but they want to watch things that are reoccurring, stuff like that. So launching a 10-part documentary at that time was almost a stroke of marketing genius, and I kind of think that maybe that's what people should be looking at, rather than launching it in March or something like that. Get that time period just after Christmas when people are sat there a little bit bored, or in the new year.
I think Jessica Jones was launched at a pretty near on perfect time as well, just as the weather started dropping, the nights were getting dark, and it added to the tone of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. They seem to have certain the right times for releasing certain things. I don't know if somebody else has come in and said, right, okay, here we go, this is a real marketing or something like that, but it is very strange how they get some things absolutely spot on and others they don't at all. They completely miss the boat with it.
I thought it was brilliant when they were talking about releasing it the same week as Batman versus Superman. A stroke of genius, because all of the market share, thought put share, is going into talking about Daredevil, as opposed to this big production.
What I loved about that is the fact that every single nerd and geek site just suddenly wrote down, "Oh my God, it's Daredevil versus Batman versus Superman." At which point, mum with half a brain cell went, "Well, no, one I go to the cinema, and the other one that I can watch at home. We're fine, thank you. We'll watch both."
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same weekend.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're gonna do it. There's not going to be much sleep happening that weekend. No.
No.
This is why it was so crazy that when it was going to all drop on a WonderCon weekend, because in it, throw WonderCon on top of both Daredevil, which I want to binge the whole thing all at once, and Batman versus Superman, and WonderCon. I'm just, not getting, dead. Anyway, but it's all going to happen during C2E2.
Which isn't better for you, really.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you try to have a live report from you on, say, like the Sunday, you're just going to be this broken shell.
Babbling.
Yeah, that's usually my job, so, yeah. You're not having both.
So, Agent Carter next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I've got my shirt on. I've, just to get back to the TV shows. Agent Carter. I can't wait.
I'm excited too. I loved last season.
That's the highlight of the shows coming up. I mean, I mentioned the ones before that I'm looking forward to, but that one, to my mind, is really the best of the best. Production values and script wise and just what it was about. So that's cool.
And watch it so we get a third season, please.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Watch it live.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Gotta have live meeting parties.
We've been getting the adverts for it here in the UK, and we'll be. I think we were getting it a couple of weeks after.
You get it on the 28th. We get it on the 19th.
Yeah. So, well, it just makes up for the fact that we get the films early.
Yeah. I know. I hate you.
We won't listen. We won't tell you too much about Civil War until you've gone to see it. How's that? Well,
I know. I love it every year. Like, you guys get it. The internet's quiet. We get it. It's like, oh, you haven't seen this? Like, in the 10 hours since it's come out? Oh, you're going to know the whole plot.
Yeah.
It's the difference between America and the UK.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you go and see the midnight screenings like I do, and I've got at least another 12 hours ahead as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Other shows that have attracted my attention as well. What's this? The Magicians.
I don't know
I've
about
been
that one.
hearing people talking about it, and all I can think it's on Sci-Fi, and I've not heard. Yeah. Nothing.
I read a little blurb about it. My feeling is that anything serious that Sci-Fi does, that's real Sci-Fi, is great, because at least it puts them more into the geek bubble, so it looks pretty good from the adverts that I've seen, and I will definitely be catching the first couple of episodes to see what it's about. The blurb that I've got, it's based on Lev Grossman's best-selling novels. A brilliant grad student chose to attend the Magician's Hogwarts, which I have to say that's what it kind of but it seems like it's a little bit more grown up than that. So.
Okay, and the other show that is attracting my attention, which I don't know if we've got over here in the UK yet, but if it's anything like the ranting and raving I've been seeing on social media, Mark, you're going to have to help me out. Is The Expanse coming to the UK yet?
The one with Halle Berry, is that?
No.
Oh, no, sorry, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, with Chad Coleman in it. I haven't seen anything to say the UK have got this show.
I've been hearing nothing but ranting about that program, about just how good that program is. Has anyone been watching it? Kerry? No? Okay. Alyssa?
I have, and perhaps this says something about me, but it's a little difficult. It's not like The Flash, which is you're spoon-fed everything. You got to actually pay attention to it. I do like the show, and I'm still watching it after, I don't know, a half dozen episodes. So would highly recommend it. But it's not it's not a DC show. You got to actually kind of pay attention to some of the different threads, and it's more hardcore sci-fi.
More Mr. Robot than The Flash.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for that to come back as well.
Oh, Mr. Robot. I love it. Yeah, that's right there. All-time classics. That hit my top 5 list this year. Absolutely.
I'm still not seen the final 2 episodes, but that's because that's because I'm a moron. That's because I'm a moron. I know this. I am told on a regular basis by people who know me how much of a moron I am.
You're gonna get Caroline in on this chat now, right?
Mark, you email her.
Yeah, I'll send her a message. She'll reply straight away to me.
Yes, she will. By DM, Mark. We've got a couple of comments that have come in on the Q&A. Michael Leventhal is watching. Hello, Michael. Happy New Year to you, sir. Mark, in terms of what you were talking about earlier in Netflix, Michael's asking, are you aware of the urban meaning of Netflix and chill? I did see a smirk come up on Kerry's face when you said it, and we were just wondering if you knew exactly what the phrase means.
No, tell me more, Leonard. Give me great detailed eyes.
I'm a complete innocent in this matter. I
know. It's okay. I know. That's why I said it.
Fair enough.
Yes.
We have Ian O'Hara watching. Hello, Ian. Agent Carter rules, and Hayley Atwell is my future wife. Fair enough. If you want to try and wrestle most of the red-blooded males who you sort of like can get within arm's reach, you're going to have to go through them first. Excellent stuff. And also, Aaron Nebus is watching. Do you think Marvel is saving their Netflix shows for D23?
I don't think they brought anything last year to D23, did they? I mean, for their Netflix shows. I don't think they did.
Isn't D23 an every other year?
It is. It's not this year. It'll be next year. So no, because I think they'll still be at New York Comic Con this year. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've never gone to Comic Con like even before D23 was like this big thing that it is now. So I don't really feel like that's. I think they just don't like Comic Con.
I think that's. It's very difficult to make any comments about Netflix going to any kind of convention with that elephant in the room. And I think, I'm sure Kerry, I'm sure you'll join me. I think we'll be sending off some emails on Monday. Let's see if we can try and get some kind of background to this, because it'd be interesting to find out exactly what the issue is.
Can I just, 2 shows that are returning this month, actually, which I actually discovered at Comic-Con. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is returning, and also Workaholics, which I'd never seen until sitting through a panel and realised, what is this madness? I need to see this show. And now I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that second one, so that one's new to me.
Workaholics? It's pretty good.
Portlandia? Yes.
That I've heard good things.
Yeah. Anywhere.
And to be honest, for myself, like I say, I mean, my show of choice is The Blacklist, but I'm still now waiting for Rick and Morty. That's all I'm looking forward to, because Rick and Morty just rules. It's just.
I saw something this week that said they've commissioned another season, but we're looking at about 18 months.
Well, I can wait. It's worth waiting. It's worth waiting for. Let's put it this way: everyone can go and watch The Big Bang Theory and have lots of fun watching that show if you really, really want to. I'll wait for Rick and Morty because it just kicks ass. I love that show. So there we go. The one thing I wanted to wrap up on, because I think we've covered most of the shows which are on the way. certainly, very quickly, one other comment that has just come in. This was from Brandon Troy. Hello, Brandon. How are you doing, sir? I wasn't big on the series Zoo when it was promoted at Comic-Con. However, I've had the chance to binge watch it, and it's okay.
Ringing endorsement right there.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Here's ringing endorsement number 2. My dad likes it. There you go. Yeah. This is the guy that doesn't like series. He doesn't like recurring programs because they just don't ever end. And I want it to finish. I want it to end. And I'm just going, well, watch Daredevil then. Shut up.
I don't know if anybody's commented. if anybody's commented on the Shanna Chronicles. Shit, I'm mispronouncing that.
It's like yeah, I can't do it either. Shannara, something like that.
It's the same as those are the 2 shows that have really been blowing up my social media. It's been The Expanse and Shannara Chronicles. I think people have really liked that show because it is doing something new with the whole Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibe.
I was not into it. I saw the first episode. I was not into it, and I turned it off. And my forum members said, "Finish the show. It gets better." Then well, I'm not teen angst. I don't do teen angst well at all, and it was all, yeah. But
wasn't that the first half of the season of the 100? And didn't that develop into something?
That's true.
Yeah, close. It's right up there. But at least there was some sci-fi involved. It took place on a space station, so I was willing to give the 100 a shot. Anyway, finish the show. The last half is a lot better than the first half. The lead character, the lead character Druid is really good. He played in Arrow. The guy Kaun, Kanan.
Okay, this is a show where you can't pronounce a damn thing. You can't pronounce the title. You can't pronounce the actors.
I know.
Oh my word.
What?
Talk about dense.
It's the guy that played in opposite in Arrow. He was the other guy in Arrow on the island. Oh, I'm bad now.
No, it's okay. But okay, the second half improved and it's worth watching. Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. So the one other thing I wanted to very quickly wrap up on then is the whole sequential television, the week in, week out, the traditional method of shows coming out versus the Netflix 10 episodes, bang, straight there in your DVR. What's everyone's take on the 2 approaches, and not only the pluses and the minuses of the both? Because the one thing I certainly take away from shows like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and indeed Making a Murderer when it came out, that you kind of get this one weekend or 2 weeks of intense discussion on social media and in pop culture, and then it kind of moves away. Whereas with sequential television, you get this constant conversation going. What's people's thoughts on that? We'll go to Kerry. What's your preferred television viewing of choice?
Truthfully, I like binge watching more just because I'm not a patient person. I mean, Todd Vanderwolf, who's on Vox, he used to be on AV Club, he's one of their writers, he said on Twitter the other day that the more people talk about, like, what is the ultimate binge watch kind of show, the more he realizes that, like, people will binge watch literally anything. So, like, that definition kind of starts to lose its meaning, and I agree with that, because I feel like, truthfully, we've all binge watched for years, like 10 years ago you'd go out and you'd buy like the DVDs of Friends or something, and you'd sit there and you'd watch the whole thing, and it's shifted. So that's not really the answer to your question.
I'll open this up to all 3 of you. I mean, do you think there's an element now of people DVRing shows and not actually watching. I mean, we were talking about Agent Carter, and please watch it live so it can get a third season. That people aren't watching it live, that they are then just storing it for a binge. Are we getting into a binge watching culture?
I totally think that happens more and more often now. I do it myself, I know. There's so much TV on now, like you kind of have to. Like Mark was saying earlier, you've had that You, Me, and the Apocalypse thing on your DVR for how long now?
September, October, maybe?
Yeah.
10 episodes, but...
Yeah. You'll watch it at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just kind of the culture now, almost, of TV, I think. Which is not great.
When he's got a week free in between Christmas and New Year this year, that's when he'll be watching that program.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll sit there for 12 months.
Talking of what you were saying there, Leonard, I think one episode a week is not going to die off or anything else like that, but I think people like to binge watch a lot more. What I personally, from my point of view, I think 22, 24 episodes a season now is dying off. We're not seeing that anymore. We're now seeing 12, 10, 8, because people are knowing that we can get so much into that and people can talk about it a lot more. So I think any show that now turns up and goes, hey, we're doing 24, I kind of think, you don't need to do 24. You really don't. I look at shows like Supernatural, which I love. I love it, but I think 24 episodes. Come on, guys. Too
many.
Yeah, exactly. You need to take it down. I mean, when Empire, I love Empire, but when they turned around and said, yeah, we're doing 18, I was kind of like, it's too many for you. You had the perfect season, that first season. Now 24, 22. It just feels like it's a marathon all the time.
You can't write 24 amazing episodes. You just physically can't. Wouldn't it be better if every show, quite honestly, had more of a UK model where it's quality over quantity?
Yeah. I mean, I even kind of got that to some degree, even with Jessica Jones. I actually thought that show was 3 episodes too long. I actually hoped that it was going to be a little bit more like Daredevil. It was a little bit of the fat was kind of cut off, especially in the back third. I mean, I don't know how many episodes there are of Daredevil Season 2. Is that 10 again?
I thought they were all 13.
Daredevil was 10.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But you see, you saying about how do people see it? Well, the thing is, if you've got 10, 13 episodes there straight away on your DVR or something like that, if you get 2 average episodes, like you were saying, Leonard, with Jessica Jones, there's a couple of episodes where you're like, you still went through them because you were like, I've got the rest of them. I'm going to do it. Whereas if I see, let's say, 3 episodes of Supernatural in 3 weeks, where I'm like, these are a bit average, I kind of think week 4, shall I really bother?
I think I'll rather. I'll prefer to do the pub.
Yeah, exactly. And then let me see what people are saying. Oh, it's picked up. Okay, great. And I think that's possibly what they need to look at is how much great episodes can you make compared to doing 24, because we've got 24. We've got the license to do 24. Just because you've got 24 doesn't mean you have to do it.
No. I'm quite liking a couple of the comments on the Q&A, which we'll do, and then we'll wrap things up. Brandon Troy, who does a great podcast on television shows, if you want to check out his stuff, the Real News. Netflix makes more sense for viewers with the ability to binge watch, but week-to-week normal programming makes more sense for networks in terms of advertising.
I think that's it on the head. Like, they haven't completely figured out how to monetize binge watching.
No. And with Jason Coe, hello Jason. With my 22 plus shows that I watch, I'm forced to binge watch them since there aren't enough hours in the day to watch television every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense as well.
Plus, binge watching is really good for the more complicated shows because you really can follow it through. That is really pointed out to me with the binging of the Game of Thrones. Follow the different houses a lot easier than if I had to wait from week to week and couldn't quite remember from episode to episode. But binge watching, actually, since the advent of the TiVo 10, 15 years ago, has really become a become part of the mainstream culture. And it's amazing to me how many people now binge watch things, and how tied in people are to shows like we're doing now, which show, like, bring out the new shows that are coming so that we know to TiVo, to DVR these shows. Otherwise, we would not know what we wouldn't know what to record. So yes, we can get the 20 episodes on our DVRs to binge watch in the summertime when there's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, nothing to watch. Fair enough.
Sorry, Leonard. Just wanted to add one thing. Talking about Netflix and Amazon Prime, people like that. There was a very, very good interview with Kevin Spacey in British GQ, I think it was, last year, just before House of Cards was coming out. And he was explaining, he'd been into Netflix, and they were explaining to him how they take all of their data from people watching House of Cards. So they take all of the demographics, and when you pause it, and how long you pause it for, and when you go back to watch it, and all of this fantastic information. And obviously then they use it and do marketing as such. But everything that I was reading, I'm like, wow, they're really in depth about this. They really know their market for House of Cards. But then they seem to be missing markets for what looks like, nerd culture.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. It's yeah.
I know that Nielsen is had also tapped into the TiVo market in terms of watching what people were doing with regards to to their shows.
Okay.
You know what, though? I think Netflix, truthfully, has almost a leg up on Nielsen, because Nielsen obviously takes like a small sample pool. There's always debates of how accurate is it not, whereas Netflix probably can see at least almost all of their viewers what they're doing.
Yeah, as live as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why Netflix never wants to share their data. I didn't read that interview, Mark, but last year at Straczynski's personal panel, he was talking too about how Netflix knew people watched Sense8, the average person was watching it 3 times in a row, that kind of thing. Stuff that you would never hear.
Wow.
So it was really interesting.
Mark, if you could find a link for that and
yes.
share it, and then we'll also add it to the comments down below of the video on YouTube if you're watching this and not live. Indeed, if you are time sharing this particular episode, thank you very much indeed for watching. But if you are watching live, thank you very much indeed for joining us this week on Talking Comic-Con. A cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. The one program that we haven't mentioned throughout the entire of this hour, which of course is the show that everyone should be watching, 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, January the 16th, the return of Sesame Street on HBO. Make sure that you watch it because it's Sesame Street, and come on, who doesn't need a bit of Big Bird in their life? So there we go. Right. Thank you very much indeed to my guests today. As always, thank you very much indeed to Mark Serby for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this is where things slightly change, because usually we turn around and say, Mark, where can we find you online? And we have the Twitter handle, and that's it. But this has changed, hasn't it? So, yeah, give us some news.
Yeah, I've got my own little corner of the internet now. I have my own website, markserby.com, where you can go and you can see all of the different things that I do. So writing, presenting, interviewing. There's even a video of me doing a radio show as well, because I do radio every week. So you can see me sat behind a desk. It's not very glamorous being in a radio studio, I've got to say. You know this, Leonard, but people don't see behind the scenes. So there's a little video on that. Yeah, so I have my own little website, so please do go and check it out, and please do give me any feedback as well.
So that's markserby.com. Excellent stuff. And of course you can find him on Twitter as well, which is
Mark_Serby.
Excellent. And thank you very much indeed for Kerry for joining us, taking time out of your Sunday. What have you got lined up in terms of certainly the unofficial blog? What's on the cards for you?
Yeah, well, now that it's the new year, Comic-Con coverage is just going to start picking up, much to my chagrin. But that's about it. That'll slowly be eating my whole life away. But you can find me at sdccblog.com or on my personal Twitter at Carrie Dixon.
Well, I mean, that's something I was going to very quickly touch on as well, because I think the pair of us have noticed that the CCI's social media is starting to really ramp up now. So
yeah,
I think
first special guests are tomorrow.
Sorry?
For the first special guest will be announced tomorrow.
Indeed. I think we're also going to be seeing, I mean, when it comes to announcements as well as the special guests, you're also going to be seeing stuff like the early bird hotel sale as well is going to be on the horizon. So yeah, do pay. Sorry.
Open Reg?
I think we're too early for that though. I think you've got a little over a month to wait for that, because last year it was announced on February 13th. And the con's later this year, so I think you've probably got like 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
The people in the forum are predicting the weekend after the 14th, February 14th.
Yeah. I think that sounds exactly right.
But I have seen a tremendous amount of people who are coming on looking for groups. We're starting groups right and left, and I keep trying to say to people, just public service announcement. Open reg groups don't work as well as pre-reg groups. Just don't buy anything until you get a badge, please.
Yeah.
Whereas I personally think of the opinion it's going to happen on Valentine's weekend because because bugger it, everything else seems to be happening on Valentine's weekend. So yeah, right. Let's just all dive into there. So brilliant. So very quickly, once again, Kerry, where can people find the SDCC blog? Certainly. You
can find the SDCC blog at sdccblog.com as well as on Twitter at SD_comic_con or on Facebook at facebook.com/SDconblog.
Excellent stuff. And thanks once again to Alyssa Franks for joining us. We managed to get all the technical issues sorted. We got you joining us. Brilliant. Where can people find you, Alyssa?
friendsofcc.com/forum.
Excellent. And also on Twitter as well?
I am on Twitter, Friends of CCI, at Friends of CCI. One last thing, Starz is doing a free to binge their first 2 seasons of Black Sail if nobody's watched that. It's just find their website and drill into the Black Sails.
Fair enough. And myself, Leonard Sultana, you can find on Twitter at Englishman SDCC, and of course you can find out all the bits and pieces I do at anenglishmaninsandiego.com. Also, if you want to join me on a Wednesday evening between 8 and 10 here in the UK, I have a radio show just like Mark does, except mine's not broadcast kind of to the general public. I do a bit of a charity thing, as it were, for Dewsbury and District Hospital, because we have hospital radio stations here in the UK. Now, the reason why I say that is because we are also broadcasting online at hwdhospitalradio.com, or you can also find us if you use the TuneIn app, if you search for HWD Hospital Radio. On a Wednesday between 8 and 10, I have my little slice of nerd, where I talk all about the news headlines of the last 7 days, do a couple of features and quizzes as well. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome, and I think it'll be something I'm going to be focusing a little bit of energy on, and see if we can make it a nice little show that you can join us. So HWD Hospital Radio, and it's Little Slice of Nerd. I think I've even got a Facebook page up for it as well, but I've got stuff to do with that, so things to keep me occupied. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. We are back again next Sunday for another show. Hopefully we're going to be having a little bit of a special on how you can get physically prepared for your con adventures in 2016. Do take care, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll hopefully see you next Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.